Aloha mai kākou, o wau ka iulani laiha, ka luna ho'okele o ka ʻaha Pūnana Leo. He leo mahalo kēia I nā ʻohana Pūnana Leo I ho'okomo I nā ho'ike mana'o I kēia hopena pule nei. Aloha everyone. Over the weekend, this past weekend, we sent out a request to our network of ʻohana to help us protect our Hawaiian medium education pathway at the legislature. And we got great response. So we want to first and foremost say mahalo to all of you for your kokua and for your willingness to speak up for our keiki, and for our papahana ʻōlelo Hawaii, hōʻole ʻōlelo Hawaii. This type of advocacy and activism has been a part of ʻAha Pūnana Leo from the very start of the organization. We're celebrating our 40th year this year in 2023. And while we've made great strides in revitalizing and renormalizing our ʻōlelo Hawaii over the past 4 decades, I think it's really important that we remember that we still need to be diligent in promoting what is really best for our keiki and for the revitalization of our indigenous, our native Hawaiian language, which is very unique and can't really be compared to other mainstream languages and doing education through those mediums. So this video is a bit different for us, but we wanted to take some time because we know that there's so much going on in the legislature this session with regard to early learning. We wanted to make sure that we take some time to clearly message what we need to keep our eye on, and why we're moving the way we're moving as we go forward. So today we're really lucky to have Namaka Rollins, Anake Namaka, our senior director of our Ne'e program, joining us. Namaka has been helping with legislative efforts both at the state and federal level for native languages for many years, and is an expert in navigating the process. So there's a lot that she could share with us about the historical context and the background on previous legislation that was critical to the successes that we've achieved to date, and with regard to our organization. But for today, we wanted to really focus on the recent and the current bills that we're keeping our eye on and we need to be actively engaged in and with. So Namaka, could you start us off, please? Mahalo.
Aloha kākou, o wau o Namaka Rollins, ke alakaʻi o ka mahele neʻe maka ʻaha Pūnana Leo. My name is Namaka Rollins, and I'm the director of neʻe here at Pūnana Leo. So Act 46 and Act 210 passed in 2020 and 2021 requires a kindergarten entry assessment in English and Hawaiian. It must meet 5 domains of child development, and the intent is to close the kindergarten readiness gap, inform instruction, and inform parents of their child's progress. The data that is collected shall be shared with the Department of Human Services, the Executive Office of Early Learning, and the Charter Commission. This works for the English settings and could help to meet the intent, but it does not support Hawaiian medium education. Well, the goals of Hawaiian medium education is the revitalization of the Hawaiian language. That's number 1. Number 2, the kindergarten entry assessment based on closing the kindergarten readiness gap. The gap we see is the Hawaiian language gap. When children enter kindergarten in the Papa Mala'o, they're not coming only from Pūnana Leo. They're coming without language.
I think too, part of this legislation was requiring this assessment be done really early on in the school year. So it probably wouldn't assess the keiki or provide results that would be helpful because
valid and reliable.
Many of these kids are starting the papahana with no ʻōlelo Hawaii at the time.
Exactly. So that's it doesn't support our Hawaiian medium education, and so that's what I mean.
December of 22, there was a Board of Education meeting, and something happened at that meeting that we participated in. We testified. Could you tell us a little bit about the recent BOE approval of the department's recommendation?
The board told the department, come back to us with a recommendation, because the board approved the Johns Hopkins out of Maryland, state of Maryland's kindergarten entry assessment for mainstream English. And then directed the department to come back with a recommendation for what are we going to do about ʻōlelo Hawaii? What are we going to do about ʻōlelo Hawaii? The Department of Education held a stakeholders group meeting with kumu in Papamala'o, administrators, both in the department Kaiapuni schools, in the charter ʻōlelo Hawaii schools. And the stakeholders meeting request was to go back to the legislature and get an exemption. It did not make sense to go on the merry way and to make an assessment based on English Johns Hopkins. The department did not recommend to the board what the stakeholders wanted. The department recommended to the board to approve the department's recommendation to go ahead and develop a Kaiapuni, a kindergarten entry assessment based on the English language kindergarten entry assessment, the Johns Hopkins, and go ahead and add a couple of more domains, get a community domain and do ʻōlelo domain.
So what we're looking at right now is the actual recommendation from the DOE to the board that was, it was a board action to approve it and move forward. The estimated total cost is between $700,000 to $1.2 million. And one of my favorite mana'o that was brought up at that stakeholders meeting that we were able to participate in was from a kumu, saying that there's a lot of things that our papahana needs. And I don't think anyone had a kindergarten entry assessment on their list of needs. So that's just something for us to keep in mind as we move through this. But mahalo for the recap. So now we're looking at current proposed legislation. And recently over the weekend, we had SB 481, which was kind of in alignment with what the DOE recommendation was. So this is the language from SB 481 for the purpose, again, aligning with the English language kindergarten entry assessment. We were recently made aware of another bill, SB 737, again, aligns with English language kindergarten assessment. We did want to highlight and move into a bill to support that we are keeping our eye on. And Nawaka, could you lead us into that one?
We have been testifying, providing information to at the Board of Education meetings. We, ʻAha Leo and our consortium partners, that have initiated and drafted language that we need in this legislative session, and that one of the language and the bills that we have going in there now is to seek that full exemption of kindergarten entry assessments for ʻōlelo Hawaii for the Papamala'o classrooms, whether it's in the charter or department schools, that they're exempt. And we have other pieces of within current law, other places that we have provided language, amendment language that would support and strengthen the laboratory school programs of Kahakaʻula o Ke'eli Kolani, the Hawaiian Language College, that also has, from which we benefit as a laboratory school program of the College of Hawaiian Language.
And I think too, we want to, clearly state that when we're considering legislation and what bills we should be supporting and not, we're trying to think of, again, the intent of the language pathway. And the Pūnana Leo is at the foundation of that. And the standards and methodologies used in our programs are based in the Hawaiian language, not aligned with or based on English language. We want high quality programs for our keiki, but we want to make sure that they're again based on our Hawaiian language curriculum and knowledge base. We're going to need to be really active in this legislative session, and we're going to be asking our ʻohana to engage with us as we have these bills that pop up and hearings pop up. We want to make sure that our entire community is informed to ensure that we have well-informed, well-intentioned policies and legislation moving forward. If you guys haven't already set up your online account, we want to encourage you to do so by going to capital.hawaii.gov. You can create an account. It's pretty simple. And then this way you'll be able to do your own research on bills, see where they're at, research testimony that's been submitted by others, some of the experts in the field, other community members, other makua. And when the time comes to be able to submit your own testimony in just a few clicks, it's pretty simple and quick. So mahalo nui for sticking with us. We'll keep you guys informed as much as we can through our emails and email blasts that are going out. But mahalo nui, we hope this was informative. Please let us know if you found this helpful, and mahalo nui to all of you for your support, your kokua. Ahui ho kākou. Mahalo.
Mahalo.